Not every woman in your life is meant to stay. Some don't love you, they drain you. They test your patience, not to grow with you, but to break you. And the most dangerous part, they do it slowly, behind smiles, through silence, through control disguised as care. A man loses himself not all at once, but piece by piece. There are signs, and if you ignore them, you'll sacrifice your peace for someone who never truly valued you. Stay until the end, because the final sign is the one most men miss, and it's the reason they stay trapped in a life that's no longer theirs. She shames you for your growth. There's a certain kind of woman who doesn't slap you, scream at you, or threaten to leave. Instead, she mocks you quietly. She rolls her eyes when you say no to distractions. She makes a joke when you try to focus. She interrupts your silence, your workouts, your reading, not because she doesn't understand them, but because she knows they're changing you. She senses your attention shifting away from chaos and into control. And for her, that's terrifying, because the more disciplined you become, the less control she has. You'll notice it not through big arguments, but through little comments. You're too serious now. You're no fun anymore. You think you're better than everyone. And at first, you might laugh it off. You might even feel guilty, as if your desire to improve is a betrayal. But over time, that guilt becomes a leash. It keeps you apologizing for your growth, watering down your focus, and asking permission to evolve. And before you know it, you're shrinking again just to make someone else feel comfortable. But make no mistake, that's not love. That's control wrapped in insecurity. Because real love doesn't feel threatened by your improvement. Real love doesn't mock your habits. It doesn't compete with your progress. It supports it. It cheers for it. It moves with it. A healthy woman doesn't need to be the center of your universe. She wants to see you become the center of your own. And if your structure, your clarity, your vision intimidates her, then she wasn't with you. She was trying to stay above you. This is one of the hardest truths for men to accept, that some women don't want a strong man, they want a controlled one. One who's good looking but easy to influence. One who's ambitious but still addicted to her approval. One who talks about self-improvement but never actually chooses it over her. And when you finally break that pattern, when you put the book down, shut off your phone, go to the gym, say no to the party, set boundaries with your time, suddenly she doesn't feel special anymore. Because the version of you she could dominate is gone. And here's where most men fold. They mistake her discomfort for love. They think, if she's upset, I must be doing something wrong. But that's the test. That's the moment where your backbone has to become more important than her validation. If you change to be liked, you'll never be respected. And the truth is, any woman who shames your growth is telling you, without words, that she'd rather have a man who's easy to control than one who's hard to break. The strongest version of you is built in silence, in routines, in resistance. And not every woman wants to meet that version. Some only want the version they can still emotionally manipulate. You'll feel it when your peace bothers her more than your stress, when your focus annoys her more than your laziness, when your boundaries anger her more than your confusion. That's how you know she's not with you. She's trying to slow you down. So if she laughs when you read, interrupts your training, mocks your standards, or gets agitated when you don't cave to her mood swings, don't explain yourself. Don't fight her. Just observe. And then decide, is this the kind of woman who will grow with me? Or the kind who will punish me every time I rise above her fears? Because here's the truth most men learn too late. The woman who mocks your growth today will resent your power tomorrow. And when she no longer has the upper hand, she'll either leave or try to destroy what you've built. Don't wait for that moment. See it now. See her now. Watch how she reacts to your improvement. Watch how she treats your time, your purpose, your silence. If she doesn't respect them, she doesn't respect you. Growth is not negotiable, not for a man who wants peace, power, or legacy. And any woman who truly loves you will want all three for you. She'll support your solitude. She'll honor your evolution. She'll protect your space. And she'll challenge herself to grow too, not to catch up, but to walk beside you. Because in real connection, no one has to lose for the other to win. She talks more than she listens. At first, it seems harmless, charming even. She's expressive. She fills silence quickly. She's animated, passionate, full of energy. You might even enjoy the break from trying to lead every conversation. But give it time and you'll start to notice something much deeper and far more dangerous. You're not being spoken with. You're being spoken at. And there's a big difference. Every time you try to share something meaningful, a thought, a struggle, an idea, it gets redirected, interrupted, drowned in her need to talk about herself. The topic changes before you're finished. Your words become a bridge to her story, not a moment to hear yours. And if you step back, really look at the pattern, you'll see it clearly. This isn't communication. This is a performance. And you're the captive audience. The deeper truth: a woman who talks more than she listens is not connecting, she's consuming. She's filling her own emotional space with your attention, not because she wants to know you better, but because she needs to feel seen. But here's the problem: that dynamic is one way. You become a background character in your own relationship. Your inner world, your thoughts, your needs, your stress slowly disappear under her constant narration. And over time, that imbalance doesn't just frustrate you, it exhausts you. Masculine energy is naturally quiet, direct, focused. It doesn't crave noise, it craves understanding. And when you find yourself constantly trying to interject, defend, or wait for your turn to speak, you're not in a relationship, you're in a monologue. Your presence becomes a mirror for her ego, not a partner in emotional exchange. And when that happens, something in you starts to shut down. You stop sharing, you stop opening. Not because you're angry, but because there's no room. This isn't about counting words, it's about emotional availability. A woman who truly respects you will make space for you. She'll listen, not just to respond, but to understand. She'll pause, she'll reflect. She'll let your silence breathe instead of filling it with her own noise. And she won't just tolerate your thoughts, she'll invite them. Because she knows that if she doesn't understand your mind, she'll never truly hold your heart. But a woman who dominates every conversation, who makes every dialogue about her feelings, her thoughts, her drama, is showing you something deeper. Her need to be validated outweighs her desire to know you. And that imbalance, if left unchecked, will rot the relationship from the inside. What starts as charm becomes resentment. What begins as passion becomes pressure. And what once felt exciting becomes draining. Ask yourself, when you speak, does she stop and look at you, or does she wait for her next chance to jump in? When you open up, does she lean in, or does she pivot back to herself? When you try to set emotional boundaries, does she respect them or bulldoze over them with more words, more emotion, more noise? Her answers tell you everything. Because communication is energy. It's not about volume, it's about presence. A woman who truly listens doesn't need to prove she's right. She doesn't compete to be heard. She doesn't hijack every conversation. She knows that intimacy is built not by talking more, but by listening better. And the man you're becoming, the man who values clarity, direction, peace, doesn't have time to be someone's emotional dumping ground. You weren't born to be a sounding board for someone else's insecurity. You were born to build, and the woman beside you should fuel that mission, not distract you from it. So if she talks more than she listens, consistently, aggressively, without awareness, that's not just how she is. That's a red flag. That's someone who doesn't understand the power of quiet, the value of restraint, the respect that comes from simply letting another person finish a sentence. And if she can't hold silence, if she can't let you speak without interruption, correction, or redirection, she's not building with you. She's using you to fill her own emotional void. And no man becomes great when his energy is constantly being bled by noise. She punishes you with silence or mood swings. There's a form of control that doesn't yell, it doesn't slam doors or throw things. It doesn't call you names or break your phone. It just disappears. It shuts down, pulls back, withdraws without explanation. 1 minute she's warm, laughing, playful. The next cold, quiet, distant. Not because she's overwhelmed. Not because she's processing. But because you didn't do what she wanted, and now you're being punished. This kind of woman doesn't argue directly, she withholds. She leaves you guessing. She uses her silence like a leash, keeping you close but confused. You'll ask if something's wrong. She'll say, "I'm fine," but her energy says otherwise. And suddenly you're replaying every moment, every word, trying to figure out what set her off. That's not communication. That's emotional warfare. The silence isn't stillness, it's a weapon. She knows that her withdrawal makes you panic, that your masculine instinct to fix will kick in, that you'll start chasing, over-explaining, apologizing, losing your edge just to bring her back to baseline. And in doing so, she wins. Not by reason, not by respect, but by control. You've been trained like a dog, obey or lose her warmth. Step out of line and she disappears emotionally. This isn't love, it's a power game. And then there are the mood swings, volatility dressed as passion. One day she loves you, the next day she's distant, sarcastic, cold. One night she's in your arms, the next she won't look at you. And every time you try to get clarity, she says it's just how she is. But let's be honest, that's not personality, that's manipulation. It keeps you off balance, it keeps you walking on eggshells, it keeps you reactive instead of grounded. And the longer you tolerate it, the more disconnected you become from your own center. You start second-guessing yourself. You stop speaking freely.